Now that you can watch entire cartoons online, you can watch my show, Camp Laszlo, whenever you want.
What? You'd probably rather watch something else, like, oh, I don't know, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
You decide what to watch, whatever you want, as long as it involves a boy and a monkey.
Wait, where are you going? We've been through a lot together. Please don't leave me hanging.
Go to video.cartoonnetwork.com and watch your favorite cartoons anytime you want, with 2 new premieres every week.
For almost 20 years, I have heard the worst possible things being said about Cartoon Network during the latter end of the 2000s, mostly in reference to their program block that premiered on June 17, 2009, titled CN Real. But just how accurate are these complaints? And is there something about this block that's misunderstood? Let's dive a bit deeper into the world of Cartoon Network and live action.
You're watching Cartoon Network. I'm Andrew WK. This is a visual aid. This is our Cartoon Network programming visual aid.
This is your brain. This is drugs.
The white represents the cartoons we show most every night. And this represents CN Real on Wednesday nights.
This is your brain on drugs.
Brain Rush, Destroy, Build, Destroy, The Othersiders, Survive This. It all starts at 8. Wednesday nights, CN Real, only on Cartoon Network.
Any questions?
CN Real was an attempt by Cartoon Network at capturing audiences who enjoyed live-action programming for kids and young adults. I did also want to add that Cartoon Network has made leaps into live action before, with shows, block hosts, and promos in the past with varying results. You had the hosts from Cartoon Network Fridays, who are still remembered fondly to this day. But you also had things like Carrot Top's Ahem Mayhem, which faded into obscurity.
Carrot Top's coming to Cartoon Network October 9th at 7 in the morning. What the heck were we thinking? What the heck were we thinking? What the heck were we thinking?
CN Real debuted with a plethora of shows. Survive This, I remember watching maybe 3 or 4 episodes of. It was basically another spin on Survivor, as a bunch of kids were brought into a forest to basically see how well they can survive. Fun idea, but considering the network was already airing Total Drama Island at the time, and it served a very similar purpose, Survive This faded into the background. The Othersiders was a show I was genuinely excited about, until I realized everything in it was fake. For me, it completely invalidates this kind of a show. If they made an attempt to capture real sightings, this show could have been something somewhat good. Destroy, Build, Destroy aired a few days after the block's premiere, and this show had to be the best one on CN Real. Growing up as a 12-year-old boy, to say that a show where they blew something up, rebuilt it, only to blow it up again was right up my alley was an understatement. Also debuting on that day was Brain Rush, a fun take on a trivia game. You get asked questions and answer them, while riding an incredibly fast roller coaster. Unfortunately, the show only lasted 1 month, but this was a fun show. Then 2 months later in August came Dude, What Would Happen? A show about a group of guys who would sit around together and try to figure out what would happen if you X, Y, and Z. It led them on many adventures throughout their episodes, some more fun than others, but overall, we once again got a fairly fun idea for a show. CN Real would receive immediate backlash as people were furious that live action would be featured on a channel titled Cartoon Network. Now, I will say this. I think including live action on Cartoon Network has ultimately proved to put them in a negative position and outlook. However, through all the criticism over the years, there was one complaint that always bothered me. CN Real was a bad idea. And after years of sitting on it, having finally gathered my thoughts, I wanted to discuss this. Was CN Real really a bad idea? Well, let's talk about it. It's a sunny day in 2006 at the Cartoon Network offices. You are an employee at the Cartoon Network, and it is your job to come up with the next money-making idea. You're hard at work, thinking of what new, innovative addition can be made to the network that will make your boss look at you with praise. After trying and trying, you decide to look at the competition. Disney Channel is taking the world by storm with hits such as Hannah Montana and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, while Nickelodeon had non-stop hits like Drake and Josh, Kenan and Kel, and many more. Disney and Nick are making leaps beyond the TV screen, while making child stars who become pop icons, famous actors, or other forms of successes. Cartoon Network did not have this kind of grasp. They had popular cartoons, but for a network that's supposed to be considered part of the Big Three, they were missing this key piece to truly be seen as an equal. So you present this idea to your boss with excitement. Your boss sees your hard work and hard work research and approves your pitch. You shake hands, congratulations are in order, and you're going out that night to celebrate. And to you, this could be one of the happiest moments of your life. But unbeknownst to you, more people than you could have ever anticipated are going to strongly dislike your business decision. But what do? You were simply trying to do your job. And that's where I'm going with this video. I don't think CN Real was a bad idea. In fact, quite the opposite. I believe CN Real was a good idea. Live action was doing well with their competitors at the time, and they wanted their hat in the ring. There's a phrase in the industry called follow the money, and Cartoon Network did just that. Now, can we look in our review mirrors years later and say that maybe we should not have done that? Yeah, I think so. But to say it wasn't a good idea is something I'll try to defend. And I know people are gonna say, well, live action on a Cartoon Network doesn't sound like a good idea to me. And I get what you're saying. I feel that. But let me give you a comparison so maybe you'll see how silly it actually sounds. McDonald's sells burgers. Burger King sells burgers. McDonald's releases a new chicken sandwich. McDonald's makes a ginormous profit and boosts above Burger King in sales. Burger King wants in on that traffic flow of money. Burger King releases a new chicken sandwich. Now, you say, well, a chicken sandwich at the Burger King doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Do you see how the network easily got in an unfair disadvantage simply because of the network's name that was created back in 1992, and they had no knowledge of how the TV landscape would have been in subsequent years? But what do you think? Was CN Real actually a good idea? Or am I mistaken and CN Real was always a bad idea? Let me know what you think down below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much to Prince Tendley, Ryan Wilkins, and Kame Senin for all becoming members. If you would also like to become a member, on my channel there exists multiple different tier levels, and you can pick out which one is best for you.